Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I'm very honored to have with me today a founder and a futurist, I guess, really, because you thought about this early on, founder of Cartelligent.com, and David Shapiro.
Yes, hi
Welcome,
Heather.
and thank you for coming. I was looking at you on camera a minute ago. You're a natural on camera. You got the great teeth, and you've probably done a lot of these appearances, right?
I don't know about that, but
yeah. So we'll have to have you back because great on camera.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself before you start talking about the company. A little bit about you, your background, education. Are you from the Bay Area? Anything you want to tell us?
Yes. Well, I'll start. I was born in New York, but moved out here when I was very small.
I
And
would
did
have
grow.
never guessed that.
Yeah, I have a little bit of East Coast in me.
Yeah, can't really tell the accent, and yeah.
But yeah, grew up out here in the Bay Area and went to school out in Santa Barbara. So I spent most of my time here in California. And I'm not really a TV personality. I'm more of, I think, what they call entrepreneur and an optimist and someone who is always looking for better ways to do things. And fortunately, stay grounded by appreciating what's really great.
And you're married and have a family.
I'm married and I have 2 children, and that's
boys, girls.
A boy and a girl.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
that's I think the greatest joy in my life.
And so your background, had you worked in the car business before, or what was your background? What led you to where you are now?
Yeah, I have worked in my first job actually during college was working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car back in the 90s, which was a real up-and-coming company that was approaching the rental car business in a very different way than Hertz or Avis or National.
And in Santa Barbara?
No, I did it here in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area, okay.
Yeah, and they were, instead of renting cars to people, business travelers and tourists at the airport, they were renting cars to people who needed a car because their car was in the shop being fixed either from an accident or repairs. So they were approaching a different market, but they also had a different culture.
Okay.
And it was one that was taking young people and giving them training and tools and empowerment to make the customer experience better. And that whole experience resonated with me.
And so how long were you with Enterprise then?
I did it actually as a summer internship job. Yeah.
And was that through the college then, or did you find it?
Actually got inspired by it because they were doing recruiting on campus even though I hadn't graduated yet. And then I reached out to someone that I knew and kind of got into the program.
And so after college, did you get into the car business
yeah,
too,
and
or
so
did
then
you
the
do
next
something?
thing I did was I went and got a job working at a car dealership, and thinking I'm passionate about cars and I like working with people, so that would be a logical next job to try. And it was a great experience in the sense that the culture there wasn't as positive and empowering and educational. It was more just sell a car to anyone who comes on the lot. And not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a different way.
And was that in the Bay Area?
Yeah, that
we
was
don't
also,
want to mention names.
That was also in the Bay Area. Actually, the dealership that I did work at is no longer in business. So
okay.
that's maybe says something about the way they did things
What
at the time.
kind of cars was it?
They were selling Fords.
Fords.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a place.
I might have bought one of my first or second cars from them. So that's interesting. So how long did you work at the dealerships then?
Again, it was a summer experience, summer job during college time, and it was a place that gave me a job with no, real experience, knowing that I was a student, and I think they hoped I would, if I did well, would come back after I graduated. But I learned a lot while I was there, and the one thing that I learned that while I was there was that people came in with a lot of hope and a lot of enthusiasm and excitement when it came, and a lot of anxiety as well when it came time to getting a new car, and they had questions and they needed to be walked through all that stuff, and the model at the time was not really set up for that, and the training at the time wasn't really set up for that, and I found that ultimately people would leave the dealership, not saying anything about the dealership in particular or my customer service, but not 100% satisfied with the whole experience. It took a long time. They often tried to negotiate, but the dealership could out-negotiate them, and they often settled and got not their first color choice or first choice of options. They got what was close that was at the dealership. And throughout that time, I thought, wow, there has to be a better way to do this. And what is a way to approach that where you could get people what they wanted, get them a great price, and help them have a great experience?
I know personally, my first fiance, high school through college, worked at a dealership. And I would hear the stories of how they would try to get, not give people, they would want to have the bigger financing because they would have a bigger commission, let's just put it that way. So, and then also women going in by themselves. Like I learned early on that if I want to go get a car, bring a guy with me because they were going to try to negotiate less of a deal with a woman than a man, which just seems crazy in this day and age, but that's going down the rabbit hole. So tell us a little bit about your company, and maybe before we do that, we can pull up the video clip.
Sure.
And check that out. So actually, yeah, let's pull up the video clip first.
Okay. I'd had a couple of friends who'd gone through the process of dealing with Cartelligent. It was definitely a different way of buying a car. The thing that surprised me most was just how easy it was. My agent found exactly what I wanted. He found the color, the specs, everything that I was looking for, and I signed the documents in less than an hour. It was so simple.
So that tells a lot. So now, were you a programmer too? Is that another part of this, or how did you?
No.
I mean, how did you come up with this idea? So you started thinking about it, and was it after college, or?
Yeah, it was after college. It was forming in the time, but it was really taking the gap there that was, buying a car should be a great experience, and owning the car, driving the car, having it is a great experience, and it connects with people in different ways, but on some level for everybody, and it's an expensive purchase. And so I saw that there's a lot of opportunity around the experience, and looked for ways to make that better.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back now. I think I've owned 6 cars now, and 3 of them I bought from dealerships. I had an MG that had holes in the bottom of it, and we don't even want to go there, but yeah, so the experience seems like it's a great thing. Let's pull up the first slide too, which I think is actually from your website. Let's pull up slide 1.
Yep.
Yeah, so the website seems like it's easy to use, and is this on the homepage, or?
I think that's part of the homepage, yeah.
So we can pull that down. The whole experience looks like it's really easy. I'm not ready to buy a new car yet, but take us through it, or if you want to talk about it a little bit.
It's really simple. You can come to us at any point in the process of what you're going through when it comes time to get a new car. And when I say any point in the process, it can begin in the early stages where you're just thinking about it, and it can be all the way to the point where you have gone out and maybe already gone to a dealership, tried to buy a car, and they didn't have the color you wanted, or the process was taking too long, or you weren't feel like you were getting fair terms, and you can come to us and say, I was pretty much done, but I couldn't finish. If you could get it for me easier, save me some money, and make it enjoyable,
So it's a
I'm all
great
yours.
negotiating tool for the customer.
Yeah.
That puts the power in with them rather than with the dealership and their financing and what have you.
Yes, and if you go back to the other part, is you can come to us at any part in the process. So people can come to us saying, I'm in the early stages, or I've done some research, and that's a great place to come, where I'm between 2 different cars, or I'm between buying and leasing. I'm hearing I should lease, I'm hearing I shouldn't lease. Someone told me I should look at a certified pre-owned, someone told me that they're not good deals. What's right for, and when people come with those questions for them, our team can work with them and answer the questions to help them understand and give them the information they need to empower them to have a better informed decision.
Let's bring up another slide now. I think I'm behind on the slides a little bit. So this is another happy, it looks like somebody's going on a trip with their dog, and look at all that stuff. This looks like my everyday car. Let's bring that down. So any type of car.
Any type of car.
And is it used cars or mostly new?
Mostly new. We understand the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
I would say we're not after classic cars that are restored or need to be restored, but anything that's new, if it's nearly new, there's absolutely an opportunity for us to compare the value. What we found lately is a lot of the used cars in the marketplace are expensive for what they should be, and people are expecting to save 30 or 40% by buying a used car, and the savings might only be 10%. And in that case, it may be a better deal to get a low price on a new car versus a high price on a used car. And that's stuff that we can help people understand the difference between.
Let's bring up the next slide too. And this is, this is the daunting task, right? Of there's so many car dealerships, and it kind of takes us away. I know when I went to look for my SUV, which was a 99 4Runner, which I still own, walking in the dealership, it was just the dread, and we could pull that down, the dread of walking in and having to haggle with the car salesman.
Yeah, and I think